What's up, everybody listening on their radios? This is Sports, Politics, and More. Good evening from New York City. I am your host, Andrew Pollack, joined, as always, by the wonderful Frank Todaro. Frank, are you there?
Yes, and welcome to your October 4th edition of Spam. How are you, Andrew?
Doing good. I'm currently looking at our teleprompter, and I'm wondering, why does it say September 20th?
Oh, that's because I probably copied and pasted because I was trying to save time.
Right, because you called me at 7:30 Eastern, and you were telling me, "Oh, well, I sleep late."
Yeah.
Excuse.
No, well, listen, I'll tell the audience that I work overnights sometimes. As I do security while I'm in school, and it throws my schedule off. I've always worked overnights. When I was younger, after I left college the first time, I worked overnights steady for almost 7 years. That's when this will tell you the first time I used to work right directly across the street from the World Trade Center, and that morning I was working overtime, and I got stuck at 9/11. But yeah, so sometimes I wake up late and it just ruins me. And of course, you know what really killed me this week was Sunday night.
Yes.
Was it Sunday night? Yeah, Sunday night. I finished my homework. It was around 1 o'clock. I actually was tired. I fell asleep, and then I woke up about 3 o'clock. I went on Twitter, and oh man, I walked into hell because now. Let me tell you, today now all the social media and stuff, and everybody's got cameras and stuff. I mean, it's like I felt like I was live at the scene.
Well, honestly, with regards to what happened in Las Vegas Sunday night, I was asleep actually when it happened, and I didn't wake up until 8 o'clock because I fell asleep, believe it or not, a half hour before the shooting happened.
Right. Well, I'm sure
I didn't find out until the next morning.
Everybody was probably a lot of people were probably watching the Sunday night NFL game, and they probably fell asleep. But yeah, I mean, I woke up at 3, and then once I saw on Twitter what was happening, I didn't fall asleep until I think 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning. I was it felt like, I'm telling you. It felt like I was there. I know, of course I wasn't there, but it just felt, I was really, really distraught. I was agitated. I was scared. I was concerned for people. I remember, all right, this is where I caught it. I caught it when they were announcing 2 dead and 58 people shot. So that's how early I caught it.
And when I woke up at 8 o'clock Eastern on Monday, it was already 50 people dead.
Right. But initially, the first reports were 2 people dead and it was like 58 shot. I don't know if that's off the cuff. That's 2. I remember at least 2 people dead, and I remember seeing just people scattering on Twitter. I started my Twitter account in about 2010, and I never used it really until like the beginning of early in the spring, and now I really like Twitter.
Well, you're talking to somebody who uses Twitter a lot as well, but guess who else uses Twitter a lot?
Who? Oh, Donald Trump.
Yes.
No, I know. Listen. Initially, that's why I started peeping Twitter, because I would read about Donald Trump's sensational tweets. So I was like, I got to check it out. I got to check out his tweets, and you can see it in live time, which is why Twitter is great. Also, you see everything in live time almost. And then then I got addicted to it, and I started tweeting people. I started tweeting twits.
Oh,
I started tweeting twits on Twitter. Anyhow, you got your idiots. You got your sock puppet accounts who are robots and trolls. But anyway, listen. Just getting back to Monday.
What happened in Vegas? Yeah.
Yeah. By the way, I told Andrew the audience, I don't know what happened. My tablet is MIA, and so I can't play any sounds this week. I can't play any sound bites, and of course
we'll have to make do until next week.
Yeah, we'll do impersonations. Yeah, because, because I would have loved to play a big sound bite of. Well, we'll talk about him soon. And yeah. So anyway, yes, getting back.
I might be able to pull it up on my data. I'm not going to use my Wi-Fi because if I use my Wi-Fi, then I'll.
We'll talk. We'll talk. We'll get to it. Just let's go step by step. So yeah, so now it's like 4 a.m, 5 a.m. It's confusion, and when I heard that when everything started to make sense, that there was now see the original reports. Remember my timeline? It was 2 people dead, 58 shot. They were reporting multiple shooters, but of course.
What channel were you watching?
I was on Twitter.
Oh, it was on Twitter. Okay, you weren't watching the news.
No, I was following everything on Twitter as it went on. I would click links. I would click to people's people uploading their cam footage, whatever. So originally they were reporting multiple shooters, but you can't take people's word for it at the scene because people are wrong. The eyewitnesses are wrong. See, that's another thing. That's why people in courts, you have cross-examination because witnesses are wrong. Yeah, and then maybe they're not. I'm not saying they're lying, but they're wrong, and because that's now. Of course, the Vegas shooting now. This is good. It's already producing so many conspiracy theories, cover-ups. The one big conspiracy theory is: were there multiple shooters?
My conspiracy theory is that he was mentally ill.
Well, that's not a conspiracy theory. That's fact, probably. Look, well, at least that's the cover story. But all right, so just getting back to the multiple shooters, there's footage where you hear different sound of the shooting. You hear a faint rapid fire, then you hear a loud shooting. I've read online and from people who claim to be experts, ex-military people. They say that could be the echo. You could be hearing echo because the sound bounces off the buildings. It's the way Mandalay Bay is, and that part of Vegas is constructed.
Well,
I don't know.
I have a few facts about the Mandalay Bay. If I can, I have it in a book. Here it is.
Well, go ahead.
All right, so the Mandalay Bay.
Andrew, we got an hour to fill, so. Without soundbite. See,
I was just going to say
hold on. I was see. This is originally we for those who are listening right now. If anybody's listening to Spam, me and Andrew took over Spam. Spam, the show has been on for almost a year, maybe 2 years, I believe. I'm not sure, a year and a half. We took over from the old hosts, Nick Durst and John Brown, and Jude, and I was trying. I had an idea for the new format of the show, and I really wanted to use sound bites. And I think for the first few weeks, I couldn't do it. I was trying to do it from my computer, but then I jerry rigged I jerry rigged my tablets so I could
jerry rigged.
Yeah. You know what I do? I tape. I found like a brown roll, like in your toilet paper. You know when you finish the toilet paper, you get that roll.
Yes.
Yeah. Only I found one that had it was a thick one. It was skinny, and I cut it about 4 inches, and I taped it to the speaker of my tablet, and then I inserted it into the microphone. It works good. It works really good. But
that's what you do?
Yeah. Listen, I got to show you a picture. But I got a tablet, and I tape about 3 inches of a brown roll onto the speaker, and it causes it amplifies the sound, and I could insert it right into the microphone, and it works really good. But anyway,
I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah, so this week I don't have I can't find my tablet. It's MIA, and I'm a little pissed about it because I do need my tablet. So we can't play sounds. So Andrew,
I might be able to.
All right, yeah, but right now, see, that's what I'm saying. Originally, I didn't want to play sounds because if you're hosting a show or doing a show, you could become lazy and start to rely on sound bites. You know, the sound bites are not original material. They are sources that you use. So I don't want to become too reliant on sound bites. So this week we don't have any sound bites. So me and Andrew are going to have to wing it. So go ahead, Andrew. What was your?
I was just going to say that the Mandalay Bay Hotel is 36 through 39 stories high.
What do you mean 36 to 39 stories high?
It's basic. The shooter was on the 34th floor.
32nd.
Oh, 32nd.
No, Mandalay Bay is much larger than that. It's got to be. It looks like it's over 50 stories because if you, of course, anybody who has seen the infamous images of the broken windows, that is about 2/3 up. So yeah, that's about 2/3 up. So. If that's
Frank, continue talking. I kind of have a situation going on outside.
Good. Andrew, good. Go take care of your situation. Good. I want to hear about it when he gets back. If you see the infamous images of the broken windows at Mandalay Bay, that is about 2/3 of the way up. So that Mandalay Bay has got to be at least 60 stories. At least. Nowadays, 60 stories. I mean, that's a skyscraper. All right. So I just looked it up. Mandalay Bay has 43 floors. All right, so 2/3. Okay, so maybe more like 3/4 of the way up. That was the shooter. That's the one. All right, so we were talking about conspiracy theories. The first conspiracy theory, and early on, because of the reports early on, was that there were multiple shooters by people on the ground, from the crowd goers and spectators, whatever, whoever. But if people have heard and seen the footage of the shooting, you could hear distinct sounds. There's two distinct sounds: one loud, one faint.
And one of the noises from what people were claiming on the ground was that there were firecrackers because there was a country concert going on.
Right, but that wasn't it. It was a shooting. You could hear the shooting. And
literally when the video started going on the internet, you could tell it was a shooting.
Yeah. Of course, and because it takes a while for people to react to it.
Obviously, yes.
Listen. 90% of us, 90% of civilians have probably never heard a live gunshot. You know,
right.
Maybe 80. Okay, maybe 80%. So it doesn't take long. You know, of course, we all know what a gunshot sounds like in the movies. In the movies and in real life, it doesn't sound the same.
Of course, it doesn't.
I've heard a gunshot, one or two gunshots close. And it sounds very, very different. One time, I can't believe I remember this. When I was about 16 or 17 in Prospect Park, I was in the middle of the field. I don't know if you know the meadows. You know what I'm talking about, Andrew?
Yes.
Yeah, right where the baseball fields are in the outfield. I was stretching, and I heard somebody. I heard what you would hear, like a pop pop. And I heard somebody scream, and they must have been at least 200-300 yards, about 100 yards, about 200 yards away from me. And later I found out in the newspaper that two kids had shot a teacher on they robbed his bike, whatever. So that was the popping sounds different than in the movies.
Well, all I got to say is that it was very, very emotional what happened in Las Vegas.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
Very distraught. And all I have to say for our Las Vegas listeners is that this is your time of grieving right now. And I suggest...
Well, listen, hold on a minute.
The rest of the week, it should be about properly grieving.
Listen, first of all, people who live in Vegas, the Strip and the outskirts of Vegas are two different populations, Andrew. The Strip is a constant tourism. It's constant people coming in and out. The people who live in Vegas on the outskirts, they live in on the outskirts of the Strip in the deserts. So those are not people who are affected by this. You know,
The whole city's affected.
yeah, but not really. The strip is an entity unto itself. You understand? That's like it's like when you go to Grand Central, right?
Yes.
Grand Central, Penn Station. Imagine that being 1,000 times larger. There's just people coming in and out, casinos. It's like a one big grand mall. You know, have you ever been to Vegas?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, so you see how
Many
it
times.
is. You see how it is. There's in Vegas, you could go and do a family thing, you know, with your parents and kids.
Right.
To go there, or you could do going with your friends and girlfriends and whatever, and hanging out and going on just getting crazy. But that's a different crowd. Those people who attended the concert, those are people that probably from out of town that had planned to go there, and so they went to go see the concert. And
right.
So anyway,
here is President Trump speaking about what happened in Vegas today.
Andrew, why can't we do this later when we do the news?
Oh, okay. Good idea.
Yeah. Let's save our sound bites.
Well, we have some about Jimmy Kimmel.
About
gun violence.
Anyway, just hold on, Andrew. We have a long time. So the next conspiracy theory is, of course, people saw the two holes, the two broken windows, and they're saying, "Oh, that's got to be a multiple shooter." Well, no, I think it's been confirmed that there was he had the corner suite and it had multiple windows.
Yes, and I know by law in Clark County, I actually know this very well. In the casinos, they have very strict guidelines because I actually have studied the history of Las Vegas, believe it or not. It sounds creepy, but I know a lot about Las Vegas.
Well, good.
And I know...
Good, Andrew. You could add a lot to the program.
Yes. So basically, Clark County, Nevada said that a long time ago, these newer buildings had to have windows that couldn't break because people would jump off the windows when they lost money in the casino.
Right.
So
people would try to ram
that's
them.
What made me suspicious when I heard about this.
People would try to ram them. Would try to run through the windows, and because up that high, it's tough to have. You can't open windows because in a skyscraper that tall, you can't open windows because God forbid the window opens, somebody falls out, and it's also for storm precautions when there's at that altitude. There's wind, there's strong wind.
And the problem is Las Vegas rarely gets any rain, but when it does, they have it for a reason.
It doesn't matter. It's a guy. You can't open windows that high on a skyscraper. But anyway, this guy...
It's illegal in Clark County.
Yeah, it's illegal everywhere. But this guy, obviously he shot out the windows. And if people who hear two different types of gunfire, but that's because this guy had many different types of weapons. So you're going to hear different shooting, different rhythms, a different pace of the shootings. He rigged a few of the guns to become automatic weapons. He had a couple semi-automatic weapons. You know, if I had time, I would have loved to have gotten Otto, a.k.a. Michael from Primer Time, as a guest tonight to get his expertise. I think him and his brother are gun experts. But anyway.
Yeah, that would have helped tonight, but they're not available.
Yeah, well, yeah. But we don't have time. Maybe next week. Maybe next week I'll email tonight. I don't know. I'm not looking at the chat.
Yeah, let's try to get a firearms expert on the show
if Otto Weinberger is in the chat room, I'm going to email you tonight, and I want your gun expert opinion next week, if you can. Anyway, so yeah, then we have so then after the tragedy, of course, and not even the dust settled, not even the blood. People are still dying and getting operations. The Democrats, the DNC, and their propaganda tools, the entertainers, came out and started protesting immediately about gun control. Hillary Clinton, of course, she's an idiot. She embarrassed herself about silencers and this and that. And then, of course, now the new propaganda minister of the Democratic Party is Jimmy Kimmel. And this guy...
I am sick and tired of him.
About 2 months ago, this guy, during the summer, it was early in the summer, the first time they were going to repeal Obamacare, he got on his late-night soapbox that he calls a live show, but it's not. It's a recorded show. So, boom, right there, he's a liar. And if you could lie to your audience about being live, I mean, even though it's well known, but why are you calling it live? Anyway,
it should be really called Late Night with Jimmy Fallon instead of Jimmy Kimmel Live. Which
tonight's show is a separate thing, but Jimmy Kimmel, right there, boom, he lies about his show. The guy wears a toupee. Jimmy Kimmel wears a toupee. So
and what's crazy is I walk past Jimmy Fallon's studio every week.
Jimmy Fallon, you know Jimmy Kimmel wears a toupee, right?
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, everybody knows that. This guy, his hairline was receding 10 years ago. I don't. Now he has a straight. But anyway, so I can't take this guy serious. So in the summertime, he got on his soapbox on the show, and he started crying about his newborn baby boy who was born with a heart defect, and they saved him, and he's a millionaire. What about the poor people? And by the way, he's so distraught that he was able to go and record the show 2 days afterwards.
Yes, and obviously he
starts crying.
Yes,
okay.
Crying like this.
Yeah. I don't. Oh, by the way, I don't. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Andrew. Michael, we're out of time for this week. Next week. I'm going to email you, and we'll get your expertise.
What?
No, Michael text. He messaged me. If we could call him, but we're out of time. We're
definitely out of time. But next week we need his opinion.
Yeah, we'll get him on. We'll get him on for a few minutes, and he'll be fun to talk to. So anyway, this guy now he gets on Monday. What was it, Monday? And he starts crying again. Now this is his thing. Every week, every month,
every time there's an emotional problem, he acts like a social justice warrior.
Yeah, because he's the propaganda minister, and his stupid audience falls for it. His audience. Oh my God, people are so stupid. I mean, first of all, you have to be pretty stupid to go and watch Jimmy Kimmel.
I can't watch late night TV. It's too much for me to handle.
And he starts crying, and he starts saying that the window has been opened up to hell. Yeah. From you and the mainstream media who are dividing the country, right? And anyway, real fast, and speaking of the NFL, now see, it's backfiring on them. The backlash has already happened. Their ratings are down. There's already a protest planned. Now, hey, you want protest? You're going to get a protest. For Veterans Day,
more.
The veterans, all veterans and families of veterans are going to protest the NFL on Veterans Day, which is coming up. I think it's November. November what? It's November 12th. So Sunday, November 12th, the veterans and families of veterans, and a lot of people. There's going to be an official boycott of the NFL. So there you go. These NFL players that are kneeling every week and protesting. They're protesting the brave law enforcement and police officers that went and stopped this guy.
This is what they hate.
They hate America. That's what they do. They hate America. They hate the family.
They are not patriots.
No, because and I won't get to it now. Next week, the commies are coming. The Reds are coming, and we'll get into that next week. Anyway, Andrew, very quickly, we'll do your segments because you missed one last week. Your Andy's 2-minute warning. Yeah, NFL.
Well, let me make sure I have the correct spread in a sec because you didn't put all the scores properly.
Yeah,
Why did you do that?
No, I showed you a picture of 5 games. It's your job to go on the website and look it up for yourself. That's how you make your picks. You look up. The way you do it is you go onto an official betting sites, and they use several sites from like Costa Rica and Vegas.
Costa Rica.
Yeah, that's where the betting lines come from. Costa Rica is a big betting country. That's where the gamblers go because it's offshore and Las Vegas. But anyway, Andrew, last week you went 1-4. That brought your total up to 5-5. And this week you have who?
All right. So, yes, it's now officially week 5 of the NFL. Oh, boy. This is interesting. 5 weeks already have been interesting. We have a bunch of 3-1 teams. This is becoming interesting, and not to mention my New York Giants are 0-4. Who saw that coming, Frank?
No one. It's this year it's very unpredictable.
I'm just stunned.
And by the way, like I said,
the Chargers, I will be upset.
Yeah, like I said a couple weeks ago. Now I feel weird doing this little 2-minute segment about the NFL.
All right, here we go. Here are my picks for this week. All right, so here we go. I don't care about what the spread says for the Jet-Cleveland game.
Why do you keep saying that you don't care about what the spread says? The spread is you have to go by the spread. What do you mean you don't care? If you go bet, you're gonna say to the bookie, I don't care what your spread is. You know what'll happen? He'll kick your ass and throw you out of the door.
Why?
The spread is the spread. The Jets spread is 1.5. You either take the points or you give the points.
That's what I was just gonna say.
Yeah, you don't say you don't care. You say the spread is 1.5 points. You say I either take the points or I give the points.
I am giving the Jets plus 1.5 to beat Cleveland. Cleveland should not even be favored to win this game. It's a disgrace.
Okay. Well, maybe they're figuring that the Jets can't win 2 games in a row.
All right, I'm taking another under this week. I'm going Tampa Bay plus 5 points to beat the New England Patriots.
It's 5.5 points.
Yes, I'm taking them plus 5.5 points.
That means they have to win by. That means they get 5. The other team has to win by 6.
Detroit's at home this week playing Carolina. I like them minus 3 points. The Raiders should get back on track even though Derek Carr is not playing. Baltimore traveling to the West Coast. I think Oakland will pull this out minus 4. And closely, the Chief-Texan game has become interesting to watch, the Sunday night game. So I am giving Kansas City minus 1 point.
All right. Very good. Very good. What are you 5-5 again?
Let me see. You texted me.
Yeah, you're 5-5. You went 1-4, 4-1. Then you did you went 1-4. You had a bye because you were away on your retreat in Maryland, and then you went 4-1, and so now you're 5-5.
Well, I hope I have a better week because I think I should.
I think it shows the randomness of picking of gambling. There is no really science to it.
Well, I'm afraid if I pick the Giant game, then I'll lose again because knowing how bad the Giants are, yeah. I can't bet on the Giants anymore.
It's called it's the law of averages. That's what you're worried about. And there's anyway, forget.
Before the news, I'm just thankful the Yankees are in the American League Divisional Series.
Okay, very good. Yeah, they won a game last night. Okay, so anyway, Jimmy Kimmel, he's a tool, and everybody hates him.
Yes, and this is how we'll lead off the news tonight. We're going to talk about Jimmy Kimmel's liberal attack again.
On gun control, yeah. This whole
Here
thing.
Here is the soundbite.
Terrible, inexplicable, shocking, and painful tragedy, this time in Las Vegas, which happens to be my hometown, and Cleo Senior's hometown. Who thinks that makes sense? Them, I guess, the people who voted with the NRA. Maybe I'm nuts, but I would like to think we can put politics aside and agree that no American citizen needs an M16 or 10 of them. And maybe that way we don't do this again.
But to Congress, I would just like to say,
are there... Yeah, first of all, and I was going to play a soundbite. I don't know if anybody out there has heard of Ben Shapiro. He's a smart dude. He goes around talking, and he counters this guy, And first of all, M16 is a military weapon. I know that. That's not allowed to be sold. Jimmy Kimmel, throughout his little monologue, lied. Either he lied, again, I always say this, either they're lying, full of shit, or purposely trying to deceive. Either way.
And it pisses me off that this guy gets away with it every time.
Yeah, either way, any of those three things, you're a tool. And you're just spewing propaganda. You're not allowed to have. People can't be sold M16s. M16s were used in Vietnam. Those are military weapons.
Or AK-47s or an MR-15.
AK-47s are illegal. They're not even made in this country.
I thought they were.
I know because I knew somebody. I won't call him a friend, but somebody in my neighborhood who I was closely acquainted with. Not a friend, but he got arrested for possessing an AK-47, and after he came out of jail, he told me that the cops told him, "Where the hell did you even get this? Because this isn't even sold in the country."
So basically, AK-47s are not allowed in the United States.
They're not even made here. But listen. All this gun control, it's such an absurd suggestion. There's hundreds of millions of guns in circulation in the United States. You can't go. You're not going to go around. People aren't going to willfully give up their weapons. If they're thinking about confiscation, they're not going to give up their weapons. And if they try and do it, and I saw a thing where there was a proposal in 2013 about confiscating weapons by the Obama administration. People, like Charlton Heston said from the NRA, you're going to pry it out of their cold, dead hands. They're going to start shooting at you, at the police, and you don't want that. And I think they know that.
Well, all I'm going to say is that, banning assault weapons would maybe solve the problem, but honestly,
an assault weapon is not an automatic weapon. It's a semi-automatic weapon.
Honestly, you can't get rid of the Second Amendment. That's logically not impossible.
Yeah, and when they say, "Oh well, the founding fathers could never have pictured automatic weapons and machine guns," well, when the founding fathers wrote freedom of speech, could they have envisioned the internet?
No.
Could they have envisioned television
or porn,
or porn, or whatever? Porn. So why is it that we always have to make adjustments to the Second Amendment and not freedom of speech, or should we make adjustments to the 15th Amendment, voting? Other amendments? Why is it that the Second Amendment always comes into attack? Because they want to disarm people, and because every country.
And that's what the gun lobbyists said when Hillary Clinton was running for president last year.
Yeah, that's why she lost. Again, see, she doesn't understand. That's why they lost, because she was going to come after the Second Amendment. That was a whole big thing. Every tyrant who's ever lived in the modern era has seized all the guns, and then the country goes under tyranny.
And that's why I'm afraid if we take away guns, assault weapon or not, we're going to be in bigger trouble.
Yeah, we'll get to the news, just like what happened in Spain, in Catalonia, when the cops started beating the voters. Go ahead, Andrew, let's start the news.
All right, so the obvious headline, we've been talking about it since the show was started, and that was the mass shooting that happened last Sunday night in Las Vegas. And I'm going to read a quote from President Trump. We actually have one on the teleprompter right now. President Trump said to the loved ones today in Las Vegas as he publicly spoke, "You are not alone." Trump said today, "America is truly a nation in mourning." The shooting took 59 people and wounded more than 500 before the gunman killed himself. It fills America's heart with grief, the president said. President Trump's remarks came at the end of the visit to the city, during which he and the First Lady, Melania, met with survivors of the shooting spree, doctors, law enforcement officers, and other first responders.
Yeah, according to Jimmy Kimmel, there's a lot of Americans don't care because they're not in mourning. They don't care.
Well, I only care because, as I said, I'm very familiar with Las Vegas.
People care. People care.
Of course they do. And I feel that the media should not be portraying Las Vegas as this bad place to be. Vegas is for everyone, not just the gamblers, but there's basic services available in Las Vegas that people don't talk about.
Yes. I got continue with the article.
There's even UNLV, for crying out loud.
Yes.
Anyhow, back to the teleprompter here. Speaking at the Las Vegas Police Department's command center, the president addressed those grieving over the loss of loved ones in the attack. Here's the proper quote I should have read earlier. This is what the president said today at the LVPD command center. We know your sorrow feels endless. We stand together to help you carry your pain. You are not alone. We will never leave your side. This day served as yet another test of Trump's capacity to serve as the nation's commander-in-chief, coming after he traveled to storm-battered Puerto Rico a day earlier.
Yeah, that's another thing that we didn't touch on, how the propaganda and the Democrats.
That's what we would have let off with this week.
Yeah,
if the Vegas didn't take over.
Who's that? Yulene Cruz. What? And Andrew, by the way, I said it when you were gone, one show when I read the news. I hate the way people overpronunciate Latin names.
Really?
Yes. How do you say the mayor's name for Puerto Rico? Yulene Cruz.
Yulene Cruz.
No, you say Yulene Cruz.
That doesn't go well in my book.
Yulene Cruz. Why do I hate when people Americans and when they read a Spanish Latin name they overpronunciate it. Anyway, yeah, she's another liar because earlier last week she was praising Trump. Then all of a sudden they got to her. CNN gave her the shirts. We are dying. I made a funny meme. CNN, we are lying. I posted that on Twitter. And then, of course, yesterday, she shut up and she praised Trump's White House. And they were trying to make it seem like Trump didn't care because he's a racist and he made everybody starve in Puerto Rico. But anyway, go ahead.
That's not true.
No. Go ahead, continue.
It's not his fault.
No, it's not his fault that Puerto Rico, the corrupt politicians in Puerto Rico bankrupted the nation and their services were already down before these hurricanes.
Right.
Okay, continue.
All right. So earlier in the day, the president praised the bravery of survivors who risked their lives to help others victims as bullets rained down from a nearby hotel during the shooting spree. At the University Medical Center in Las Vegas, the president said that he met with some patients who were very, very badly wounded, and they were badly wounded because they refused to leave.
Right.
They wanted to help others because they saw people going down all over.
By the way, and on Twitter, you had to see some tweets by teachers, Antifa teachers, an Antifa teacher, the vice president of CBS, a vice president of CBS who tweeted.
Oh yes, Mark Dice talked about it.
Yeah. That they had no sympathy because the people who supposedly this is you're not supposed to stereotype and generalize people, but the people who were attending this concert, a country music concert, were all white. They were all Republicans. They were all Trump supporters. They knew this, and they had no sympathy for them. Just like when Scalise got shot back in the late spring, they said, "Oh, they had no remorse." These people are scum. They're scum. And
obviously,
by the way,
this is why the media has become so liberal lately.
Listen,
I am sick and tired of it.
Listen, if I didn't know any better, I would think that they are actually making themselves look bad so that Trump could get reelected. If I didn't know any better, I would think that. But anyway, all these people who were badly wounded, there was a story about an African-American guy who took a bullet in the neck, and he saved 30 people. He carried 30 people to safety, and he caught a bullet in the neck. Just like the Hurricane Harvey, blacks and whites, Americans, not just we call them black and white because that's what it is, to divide people. Americans are saving each other. Americans come together.
Liberal or conservative, that's all that matters at the end of the day.
It doesn't matter. When crisis comes, real human beings, real Americans come together.
And that's what happened during 9/11. I specifically remember that.
Yeah, well, 9/11, yeah, that was this. Anyway, so go ahead, continue with the next story.
All right, so we're going to read this interesting conspiracy theory regarding...
It's not a conspiracy theory. There's a picture about on this.
Yeah, it says here that the image was posted on Facebook.
Yeah, it was posted by the actual hotel servant waiter who delivered the food. Go ahead, read the article.
Wow, and I'm first hearing about this. Let me read this.
Well, tell the audience.
I will tell the audience. An image posted on Facebook by a man who claims he served Stephen Paddock. It shows that the gunman was with a guest during his time at the Mandalay Bay Hotel 4 days before the massacre took place. The receipt shows an employee named Antonio served 2 guests an IRD MB, which means in-room dining, Mandalay Bay. The table number is 32135, which equates to Paddock's room number 135 on the 32nd floor of the building. It says here that Paddock ordered a burger, a bagel with cream cheese, a potato soup, 1 bottle of water, and 2 Pepsi, suggesting that there was another person eating with him in the room. The receipt shows the number 2 next to the word guest. The date on the receipt also says September 27th, whereas authorities assert that Paddock checked in the day after on September 28th. Paddock's guest could have not been his girlfriend, Marilu Donley, because she was in the Philippines on that date.
Yeah, and this woman, this is a very interesting thing. Also, right at the night when it was happening on Twitter, there was, of course, people posting. There's a joke now, a bad joke, that whenever there's a tragedy, the people post a picture of there's this white guy with glasses holding a machine gun, and they always post his picture saying that's the suspect. Of course, people don't fall for it. But also, they were posting pictures of Mary Lou Danley, who was saying that this was right live when the right after the incident, that she was the girlfriend and the police were looking for her. And they were also posting 2 different license plates of her car, supposedly. But then later it was confirmed that she's in the Philippines. But now she's actually they actually brought her into the country today.
Yes, I was watching the news, obviously.
Because there's more reports that Stephen Paddock wired money overseas to the Philippines, where she is. That's where she was. So the plot thickens. Go ahead, continue reading.
All right, so the man named... Let me make sure his name is correct, because this is crazy that I'm even reading this. Right, the man named Antonio, there we go, who posted the receipt, appears to have deleted it from his Facebook page, although the page still shows that he works at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino.
Yeah, well, that's maybe because probably the hotel told them to probably the hotel told them to do that, so did the cops, and
Right, and that's probably evidence.
Yes, it is evidence.
Well, I'm sure Las Vegas Metro is taking a look at it right now, but anyhow, all right. Another source told Laura Loomer, I don't know who this person is.
She's a reporter. She's an internet reporter.
Oh, all right. Well,
she's actually
this woman.
She's actually pretty well known.
Whoever this woman is, The source told this woman that the gunman actually checked in on last Monday, the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said.
Anyway, listen, Andrew, you're boring me. You're boring me. You're trying to figure out the article while you're reading. Listen, this guy was he checked in for 4 days into the hotel. Obviously, how did this guy carried an arsenal with him into his hotel room? Who helped him? Did he carry all these weapons into duffel bags and luggage all at once? No, it probably took him a few times to bring stuff in. So
I'm left wondering.
There's no way in hell this guy acted alone and nobody knew of his plan. There's no way in hell this guy was quote unquote the lone wolf. That this guy all of a sudden snapped. There was an interview. They interviewed his brother, who was people saying, "Oh, he's acting." No, the guy was in shock. He never knew about this. He never knew about this. It's like if you had a brother, all of a sudden somebody you found out your brother did this crime.
There was reportedly a woman who said 45 minutes before the shooting that someone was going to die. Yeah,
this is also another thing that's going around.
That's what made me suspicious.
Yeah, there's a report that this concert girl was interviewed, and she said that some woman came into the front row, the VIP section, and she started playing with somebody's hair, and she started harassing people, and she told them that you're all going to die. 45 minutes, and then she got escorted out of security. And curiously enough, in France a couple weeks ago, there was this eerily similar interview by someone who said the same thing, that a woman came up to the people and told them that they were going to die before the terrorist attack in France, the shooting in France. I think it was France. I'm not sure. But anyway, again, let's move on very quickly, Andrew. Next story.
I wouldn't go to France. Yeah, because France is France.
Yeah. Let's go to the next. We're doing our investigative reporting, Andrew. Go ahead. Report.
Well, can we stop talking about this and move on to a different story?
All right. Okay, good.
Please, because we're pretty much annoying the audience with these Las Vegas stories.
Okay, good.
Come on, we have a good story to talk about in the business world.
Good. You're right. But it's a big story. But good. Let's go ahead. Good.
All right. So we have a story from Europe. It says that the EU is ordering Amazon to pay nearly $300 million in illegal tax advantage.
Yeah, they found a loophole probably.
Ooh. Well, Amazon was ordered to pay 250 million euros in American currency, that's 294 million, to Luxembourg on Wednesday after the European Commission said the online retailer had received illegal tax benefits. According to the regulators, Amazon received tax advantages between 2006 and 2014 in the country without any valid justification. Luxembourg gave illegal tax benefits to Amazon. As a result, almost 3/4 of Amazon's profits were not taxed, said Margaret Vestager, the EU's Commissioner for Competition. In other words, Amazon was allowed to pay 4 times less tax than other local companies subject to the same national taxes. This is illegal under the EU state aid rules. Member state cannot give selected tax benefits to multinational groups that are not available to others.
Yeah, I'm sure there was they got paid some money under the table. But
this is basically tax fraud.
Yeah, but whoever initially allowed this illegal tax advantages, they probably got money under the table from Amazon, and now it came back to haunt them.
Well,
okay, let's go to the next story, Andrew.
Yes, so we just wanted to quickly mention that story in the business world. So here's an interesting story that might have been seen on Tomo News, and I'll read it. Woman charged with beating boyfriend to death with frying pans.
Now this is funny. This is like a stereotypical of a woman hitting a man with a frying pan.
Wait, where did this story take place?
Camden.
Camden where?
County. It says Camden County. Can't you see?
Yeah, but where is Camden County?
I believe it's in Maryland.
Oh. Well, I don't know that since, again, I'm a Delmarvin. But anyhow, a Maryland woman, let's call her from Maryland. A Maryland woman is facing murder charges in the beating of her boyfriend.
I'm sorry. Woodland, Camden County is New Jersey.
Oh, really?
I just looked it up, yes.
All right. Let's read properly now. A New Jersey woman is facing murder charges in the beating of her boyfriend last month. It was Labor Day weekend when police in Woodland, Camden County, New Jersey, were called to a convenience market on Mount Ephraim Avenue. This is odd. How come there's another story that comes up here? This is weird. Oh, okay. Jason Lewis, 35, was conscious, but he was bleeding from the head after he said he had been beaten by his girlfriend with a pair of frying pans. Oh, now you have sound bites.
I'm improvising.
That's a frying pan, folks. I know that. For our audience who can't see Frank right now, he has frying pans as he's laughing.
Don't give away. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
All right, so the 31-year-old woman named Marlia Cole fled her home about a block away. Lewis later underwent emergency surgery, but succumbed to his injuries last week.
Succumbed.
Oh, okay, succumbed. This teleprompter's so hard to read.
Yes.
Cole was apprehended without incident after being charged with murder and awaits a pretrial detention hearing.
Oh, she's going to go to jail.
Oh, no question.
I'm sure she'll say she was abused and she snapped. But go ahead. Anyway, continuing to the next story. We're running out of time. All
right, so I figured this is important because we like to talk about North Korea a lot on this show. CIA official predicts North Korean I can't even read this.
Provocation. You see, see the audience. See our education system is failing us.
Oh, great! The teleprompter's malfunctioning. I swear, provocation. I write it.
Provocation. In third grade, didn't the teachers tell you how to sound out the word provocation?
Teleprompting geniuses, thank you.
Okay.
All right. All right. A top CIA official from the Korean Peninsula warned today that the United States should be ready for a new provocation by North Korea this Monday, October 9th, which is Columbus Day, which coincides with the anniversary of the founding of the political party that governs in Pyongyang.
Yeah.
Sound by your phones! Young lead deputy assistant director of the CIA's Korea Mission Center said, while speaking at a conference organized by the agency at the George Washington University. Lee did not speculate what North Korea might do. So,
listen, I got to stop you. This even though I selected this story, this story sounds like a bunch of garbage. Number one, why would the CIA source leak this to the media that there might be a provocation? What's a provocation? That they're gonna a provocation could be anything. They could have they could have the military march. They don't know. This is. I think this story is full of holes.
It could be more North Korean propaganda spewed on the radio stations.
I think. I'm sorry, but I think this is American propaganda. This story reeks of propaganda.
Oh, no, are you talking about liberals making up rumors again?
No, I think this is a CIA propaganda or whoever. The military-industrial complex propaganda.
Look, we'll all be fine on
Yes.
Monday. Don't worry. The sun will come out on Monday.
Provocation can mean anything, Andrew. It can mean that they just have a festival with a bunch of army marching in their.
Or maybe Kim Jong-un is going to have red velvet cake, and they want to make a big deal about it.
Yeah, he might say something about Trump. That's a provocation. Anyway, you have another article. We have a couple of minutes left.
Oh, I mean, I don't really have anything other.
I see 3 articles in front of my teleprompter.
I'll make up an article then.
No, how about why don't you talk about the Google?
No, I have an article. Yankees come down from 3-0 Minnesota Twins in American League wildcard game. Luis Severino had an awful first inning. He gave up three runs. 2 of them were home runs. The Yankees bullpen, led by Jad Green and led by 5 solid innings by David Robertson, helped the Yankees win 8-4 in the American League wildcard elimination.
I'm sure, Andrew, you were watching this game last night on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
Yeah, were you happy? Were you happy when the Yankees came back and won with all the home runs?
Yes. Possible MVP candidate and definitely guaranteed American League Rookie of the Year, Aaron Judge, hit a home run.
Yes.
Also, there were home runs by Didi Gregorius and Brett Gardner.
Yeah,
Aaron
Judge
came out to save the game in the 9th.
Aaron Judge is a pretty good player. He broke the rookie record this year. Mark McGwire's record of 49 home runs. He had 52, and this was his 53rd. He's pretty good, but so far he's either.
The Yankees will move on to the American League Division Series starting tomorrow night, where they will play the Cleveland Indians. The Indians are scheduled to throw Trevor Bauer on the mound in Game 1 and possible Cy Young candidate Corey Kluber in Game 2. The Yankees have yet to announce who will be starting in Game 1. Rumor has it will be Sonny Gray, but Joe Girardi said expect the announcement to be made tomorrow afternoon.
Very good, very good. Are they standing for the national anthem, Andrew?
Yes, they all stood for the national anthem yesterday.
All right, listen, we're out of time. I want to thank the audience. This was a pretty rough episode because we do current events, so we have to report on the Vegas shooting. Thank you. Next week.